Hi everyone, it's Wendy here. I am a little bit far away from my computer and phone, so if you come on, just give me the thumbs up if you can hear me. And we are here today for Mommy Minute with Wendy, 2 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, and today is Tummy Time Tuesday. And today we're going to talk about weight shifts and the importance of controlling those weight shifts. In order to produce effective and efficient movement. So this is Max. Max is going to say hi. Hi, Max. And this is Susie. Hi, Susie. And and so today I'm going to show you what the difference is between a newborn and a 7-month-old in tummy time and how they get there through controlling weight shifts. So the first thing that I want to do is just give you guys an expectation of what a newborn looks like on the tummy. So if you were to put a newborn on their tummy, they would look like a little beetle bug with their butt kind of stuck up in the air, and they would have their hands, their elbows kind of tucked in close to their body, and they would have their head all the way over to the side. And conveniently, that hand is going to be placed right next to the mouth. Now, this is like just beautiful, magical, miracle design because one of baby's best self-regulation tools that they have themselves, other than you, is their hand. So they've been suckling on their hand since about 16 weeks in utero. And so here on the ground, on their tummy, their hand is conveniently placed right next to their mouth, so they often can go there. And so really the first time, if your baby's like first getting upset on the phone, then or on the floor, then usually the first thing that I help babies to do is to get their hand to their mouth. And usually that helps them calm right down. The other great thing about baby being here from the very beginning is that it really helps to stretch out any muscles that might be tight or asymmetrical on the left or right side, because for baby to breathe, they have to have their head all the way to the left or all the way to the right. And when a baby is first going through those motions, they're going to end up dragging, oh gosh, I just knocked that off, dragging their head face across the ground. So as an adult, we might look at this position and go, ew, like that looks really uncomfortable. I would never want to be there. You know, my weight is all the way up on my face and it's just like smashed into the ground. Well, babies like being smashed, okay, especially this first 3-month period, which is known as the 4th trimester. And really because they're still so incredibly immature in their neurologic development as well as their body development. And they have been squished in utero for quite some time in a very small house, and every movement that they had been doing in utero is against a pretty strong resistance from the amniotic sac as well as your uterine wall and all the muscles that are stretched out and the fascia and the skin. So they are really moving against a lot of resistance throughout at least the last few months of pregnancy. Once they're out in gravity, the only resistance that they have is gravity pulling them into the floor. And so really when it comes to weight shifting, it's all about how is this baby going to weight shift against a force that's pulling them straight down. And so this position for baby is actually quite comfortable. They like being smashed, so don't worry about it. If it doesn't look comfortable to you, that's okay. You're not a baby. But to them, it is comfortable. And really, if you know anything about yoga, this is also the child's pose in yoga, where you get to shut out the world and just be with yourself. And it's very calming and centering. And so it really is an awesome position. So now by the time baby is 7 months old, they are outlasting you in a plank. And babies' planks are awesome. They can stay up there for quite some time, and they have just a ton of strength. So how does a baby go from being totally helpless into the ground, being pulled into the ground and smashed, to having like incredible anti-gravity control, a lot of times better than us, in 7 months? Well, practice. Practice is a huge part of it, but really what they're mastering is they're mastering weight shifts. They're mastering how to get their weight from one part of their body to another part of their body, and so that they can free up one side or one part to be able to move through space. So the way that we move through space when we're walking is that we shift onto one side, lift the other, shift onto that side, lift the other, and that's what helps us actually propel through space. Baby needs to learn to do the same thing. So the first thing baby's going to do is learn how to shift their weight backwards. And so what ends up happening is gravity starts to take over control, and the hips start to come out in this frog position. So you can see automatically, and Max has got his face straight down because he doesn't turn his head unless I ask him to. But once those hips come down, you can already see that some of this weight is shifting off of the back. So if baby couldn't pick up their head here and dragged it across the surface, now they're able to pick it up a little bit more because the weight is off of the front end back towards the back end. And so what ends up happening is through 7 months, the weight of baby starts at the mouth, it goes down to the upper chest, nipple level, tummy, pelvis, and it just moves straight down. And as the weight shift moves down further and further towards their center of mass and the center of their body, the front end of them becomes lighter and lighter because the weight is back, and so therefore they're able to come up off the ground. So that's the forward backward weight shift that they learn. And really babies learn how to control forward backward first. Many babies get stuck in the forward backward phase. They don't really learn very well how to go side to side anymore. And so one of the things that we can do to teach them, first of all, I'm going to show you what to expect. So once a baby has shifted their weight back enough to be in this beautiful 3-month position where they're in kind of a tripod, their elbows are in line with their shoulders, so 90 degrees, and their hands are kind of clasped in front and they've kind of made a triangle. This is a really important position because what it does is it allows the pec muscles to turn on. And once the pec muscles turn on, now the chest gets to be lifted up against the ground. So they're not just holding their head up from their neck extensors, their cervical extensors, but they're actually lifting it up from the chest, getting more range of motion through the back, each segment of the vertebrae. And what that does is it relieves some of the pressure and strain that was on the front of the neck. Because if you try to pick your head up when your body is way down here, you can hear my voice. It's really straining. It's hard to breathe down there. It's hard to talk down there. Everything gets shut down. So that's why when babies down here less than 3 months old, they don't hold their head up very long, right? Because they can't breathe very well there. So they come up to the side, which opens up one side of their neck or the other side. But you really don't see them in the middle until their chest is coming up, because once their chest is up, then you can see, relatively speaking, my neck is in alignment with my body, which would have been like this here, not here. Now I can breathe, I can look around, and I can start to survey my land. So with the weight shift side to side, when we start to see that at around 3 to 4 months, that's when we start to see reaching. And it's really fun to see a new reaching baby because they see a thing and they want to go get it. And so what they do is they turn their head towards the toy, they shift their weight towards the toy, and then they reach that same arm by sliding it out. A lot of times what ends up happening is as that arm slides out, they've now got this aerodynamic position that they just fall over their shoulder, and that's the first accidental roll. And so it's really fun to see in a period of 2 months that instead of shifting their weight toward the toy, they learn how to look at the toy, shift away from the toy to free up this hand to now reach in space. So now baby has started to learn, like, oh wow, if I want to do something with this hand, I better get my weight off of it first. So for an adult, you know, and you're only going to see my legs, but if I say lift my right leg, and I lift my right leg, what's going to happen to me is I fall over to the side, and that's because I've not shifted my center of mass over to the left. So if I want